Hello everyone, in this video I will be showing you that by using my secret weapon against the Sicilian defense, I trapped my opponent's queen in only 14 moves. So what's going on here? So I was white playing an online blitz game against a 2400 rated player, and I started with pawn to e4, and after black plays the move pawn to c5, how many of you struggle to find a weapon against this? Why? Because the Sicilian takes away the fun of chess. This is played by people who want an aggressive game, who want a theoretical duel and memorize moves up to move 20, 30, and they just like chaos and madness. So what should we do against this? Now generally in this position, most people play the move knight to f3 followed by d4 with the open Sicilian. However, there's too much theory there. Too much memorization is required. The former world chess champion, Bobby Fischer, in his last final days, his last final months, he was very upset about chess because he said that it's become a game of memorization. So why should we play the main move that gives us much more study work, much more load on our memory, and it does not guarantee us any better position, and most black players will be expecting that move. Here, however, I really like the move knight to c3, taking the game into our own hands. Now, why do I like this move? I like this move because it's not the most popular move, and what recommendations follow are very rare. For example, against pawn to d6, I like the move bishop to b5, a move I simply cannot resist. When black just opens up his king like that, it's very natural for me to just give him a check, and now this disrupts the coordination of black. Black has other moves such as pawn to e6, pawn to g6, pawn to a6, and the main line knight to c6. And in my upcoming course in Chessable against Sicilian defense, I cover all of those moves. However, in this video, I will show you my game where my opponent played the main move knight to c6. And here I really simply cannot resist the move bishop to b5, threatening to take the knight and double his pawns. So almost every opponent in this position will play you the move knight to d4. And what is the move do I have here? Now, black here thinks he's smart. He's attacking our bishop, and he thinks, oh, we're scared, we're gonna move the bishop, because in chess we've heard that bishops are better than knights. Here, however, I really like the pawn to a4. The main idea is black cannot take the bishop, because if he would dare take the bishop, we would simply recapture. And just look at this position. Our rook is open, we have development, and we're ready to continue. Meanwhile, black has not developed anything. White will be much better here. So in the game, my opponent played pawn to g6, a very natural move, wanting to bring his bishop out to g7 and simply finish development in a dragon style. Here I played pawn to d3. Again, black here cannot take the cursed bishop. I mean, he could take it, but white would be better. Then I simply take with the pawn, and now my rook is in the game, and the pawn on b5 would be a great asset. So black here played bishop to g7, and I continued simply with knight to f3, developing my pieces. And black played a seemingly logical move. He wants to put his knight on e7, which he won't want to put it to f6, then it will block his bishop on g7. So this is a very natural scheme of development. And here in my game, I uncorked my novel idea that is presented in my course, pawn to a5. And my opponent here was rather confused. He didn't know what's the idea. Why is it simply moving a pawn on the flank? What could this be? The main idea was that when he played now knight to e7, I dropped the move bishop to f4. And what's going on here? My bishop now is looking at the d6 square. And if the bishop could enter that square, the black position will be paralyzed. And one of the main points is now, if black even thinks to play a move like a6, my bishop can retreat back to a4, and it's keeping a pin on the black pawn. The black pawn cannot move as the king is here, and therefore black cannot kick our bishop away on a4 because we keep our eye here on the king, and therefore we enter on the d6 square. So that's why a5 is very important. When black plays pawn to b6, we actually can play a6, and then we completely paralyze black on the queen side. So what did my opponent play? They simply castled their seemingly logical move. But then here, bishop to d6 came, attacking the pawn on c5, and now black again has a hard time to decide what to do. Now guys, remember I'm a small content creator. This is a family team here putting out videos to you guys. Every like, every subscription, every comment, say what you like about the content, what would you like to see. All of those things are deeply appreciated, guys. This is a journey together. We're experimenting here with the video topics, with the video ideas. I'm an international master. There are numerous topics I could present to you guys, but I want to know what would you guys really like to see, and then your wish will be granted. So back to the position. Black had a hard time defending the c5 pawn. If he plays b6, again the move a6 will come and just clamp down on the position. Again, he does not really want to take my bishop, because then my knight will recapture and look in towards c7. Here, rook to e8 was played, because remember, his knight was under the pin also. I simply grabbed the pawn, okay, free pawn. And now he finally couldn't bear it anymore. He took my bishop. I simply recaptured here. And then he went pawn grabbing. Boom! Bishop captures b2. He thinks he's attacking my rook. And here it's a blitz game, so I moved my rook, attacking his bishop. He went back to g7. And here I blocked my bishop on d6. Simply shutting down the black position. And here black, not knowing what to do, laid the move, pawn to b6, trying to bring out his bishop somewhere. And to his complete shock, after the move, bishop to e7, his queen was trapped and black resigned. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how we crushed the Sicilian defense. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.